Well, good afternoon, everyone, and thank you all for joining us at this really announcement and celebration for Iowa once again. I'm Sonny Perdue, Secretary of Agriculture at USDA, and I'd like to welcome Senator Joni Ernst with us, as well as Secretary Mike Ney, and we'll introduce Chad Roop in a minute, and then certainly our recipient later as well. But we're delighted to have you here. These are always great celebrations, and we love to do them in person because there's such a camaraderie and an excitement about the transformation that these rural connectivity will bring to small towns and rural areas. And that's exactly the purpose. When Senator Ernst and her colleagues in Congress appropriated these dollars, it was for rural unserved areas, because we know anything that COVID-19 has taught us is that this digital divide cannot be tolerated much longer. When we saw for distance learning and telemedicine, precision ag, e-commerce, and just really the social aspects of connecting with each other. If you're watching this today, you're one of those people who has advantage of connectivity, but there are about 21 million Americans who don't. They feel left out and are left out in the modern economy, in the modern environment, without connectivity. You can relate back in the 30s there, where not all the United States had electrification, and the United States government, along with many partners in rural co-ops around this country, joined together and to light up America and provide electricity. Can you imagine if that hadn't happened? We're in that same place today regarding digital communication, digital connectivity, and our citizens today are going to be just as left out of the modern economy if we can't afford to, if we cannot afford them the opportunity to be connected to one another and to the world and global commerce. So there are many, many opportunities there that we have, and we appreciate the opportunity at USDA to be held accountable by Congress for this appropriation of this money. This first round was appropriated at $600 million. I think we have leveraged that out to about $752 million. It was oversubscribed by a good bit early on, and we will tell you about that because fortunately Congress continued to appropriate, and our next round is $1.1 billion. It is closed for applications. It's oversubscribed as well. So you know there's a lot of interest out there. I want to thank all of our smaller telecoms and rural utility services all across the country for stepping up and trying to serve their citizens in the modern day needs of high-speed broadband connectivity. So thank you for joining us today, and I'm delighted to have one of your senators, Senator Joni Ernst, with us this afternoon, rather, to greet you and to talk a little bit about what the meaning of this program is to our constituents in the state of Iowa. Senator Ernst, welcome, and your floor is yours.
Thank you, Secretary, very much. And I was so pleased to be able to join you today. I really do appreciate the invitation and the opportunity. And for all of the folks that are out there watching, we want to thank you so much for the great fight that you are exhibiting during this COVID-19 pandemic. And I have long been a heavy supporter of rural broadband and connectivity issues because I come from a rural area and live there today in Montgomery County. And what I have seen through the COVID-19 pandemic is a great awakening of the United States to the needs of those that are living in our most rural communities. Certainly, as the Secretary described, there are all kinds of activities that are taking place online right now, even more so than what we saw before the pandemic. So whether it is connecting to classes virtually or online, our kiddos still have opportunity as long as they are connected. There's telehealth opportunities, and we see more and more, not just seniors, but everyone engaging in telehealth, whether it's mental health supports, just normal monthly checkups with their physician or provider. And we see that it's becoming a preferred method for those folks to engage with that provider over the internet. We see, of course, the Zoom meetings are the go-to meetings, and that's how I was connecting with so many Iowans when I was in Iowa. Working through the heaviest part of that pandemic, we just needed to be able to connect. And so I am so excited that we have this opportunity now to make sure that more people are connected, whether they are engaging in telehealth, whether they are going to school, or whether they are running a small business out of their home. We all should be connected. And again, I think America has really noticed the needs of the people in the rural communities. And that's why I'm such a great supporter of the ReConnect program. Thank you, Secretary Perdue, of course, for being such a great promoter of the program and really enhancing the way we live in rural America. This is a must-do, and we're glad to have this type of broadband being pushed out into those rural areas. I want to say congratulations to Brita as well. Thank you so much for your interest in this, and congratulations. And we're really excited about this ReConnect grant. And I know that the community of Arcadia and the surrounding areas are extremely appreciative of your hard work, and of course the USDA program, ReConnect program. So again, thank you so much for allowing me to join you today, and I look forward to hearing from your other guests, Secretary, and I'll turn it back over to you. But God bless, stay safe.
Thank you, Senator Ernst. And obviously, for Iowa, you know all too well the need for this and the digital divide that exists in many parts of our country, Iowa and other states there that do separate us. And this next guest also understands that. Iowa Secretary of Agriculture, Mike Naig, is certainly involved with the rural aspects of Iowa, so much from a large agricultural state. And Mike, thank you for joining us today, and we're happy to have you with us.
Well, thank you, Mr. Secretary. Good to be with you. Welcome back to Iowa, at least virtually. Good to see you again, and thanks for your leadership on this important issue. And Senator Ernst, always great to see you. Thanks for all that you're doing to help Iowans give us a voice and advocate for us at a very challenging time. So we know that reliable and affordable internet is key to success in the 21st century. And, you know, I keep thinking you don't have to look very far in agriculture to see the importance of digital agriculture, whether it's precision conservation, precision agriculture in the field, managing livestock, or just managing the business. We know that it's critically important to sustainability and prosperity and profitability in agriculture. So this is an important piece of that. And I want to congratulate the Brita telephone company for your engagement. This project has potential to have far-reaching effects on businesses and your customers and the communities that you serve. You know, normally we think of critical infrastructure as being something like a road or a bridge, but we all know that connectivity, whether it's fiber or broadband, what have you, that these are critical pieces of infrastructure that require investment and pay attention to. So we know that without access to broadband, that you can have entire communities that are increasingly left behind in an information age and a data-driven world. And we can't have places that have internet access with speeds that are maybe something like what we all remember from dial-up days. You know, today, as Secretary, as you mentioned, and Senator, you mentioned as well, in the age of this pandemic and telemedicine and work from home arrangements, and it's only highlighted the importance and the need for this type of investment for exactly what the USDA ReConnect grant does. And we need to see even more of it. So glad to hear about what will happen next, even with this program. You know, whether it's the Zoom meetings or conference calls, or whether it's FaceTime with grandma and grandpa, we know that all of this, again, is so important. And we need to have strong broadband access across all of the country, including our rural areas. So it's a great challenge. Efforts to expand the network and services is not inexpensive. It's something that we need to focus on. But I think Iowans and others can be reassured that we have leadership at USDA that recognizes the importance of this, and within the Congress as well. So again, thank you for your leadership. Great to be a part of this announcement today. Thank you.
Thank you, Secretary. Thank you, Senator. And I don't know about you, I'm kind of excited about teledentist. Maybe that's Chad Roop is our rural utility services administrator. And he has been the person responsible for administering, along with his chief of staff, Misty Giles, of making sure this program got rolled out well. We're very proud of the effects. We'll talk a little bit about that in a moment. But Chad, why don't you take a moment to tell us about this particular recipient and award today?
Good afternoon. Thank you, sir. Today's project is for Breda Telephone Corporation, and they're awarded a $523,000 grant. And with their equal match of $523,000, they'll build 45 miles of fiber to the premises to serve 52 households in Arcadia, Iowa. Under your leadership, as well as President Trump's, a project like this will bring new opportunities to rebuild our nation's infrastructure and renew our economic growth in rural America. And although this is one of our smaller projects that we funded in this round, we appreciate the true partnership that Breda Telephone has offered with their 50% cash match to this project. We've had a strong presence in Iowa for round one. This award today brings a total of 6 ReConnect awards to Iowans for over $40 million in federal funding for broadband projects throughout the state. And as a direct result of these 6 statewide projects, over 2,000 farms and businesses will be able to access new markets and create innovation for precision agriculture to increase productivity and reduce environmental impact. Earlier this year, you released your Ag Innovation Agenda, and these projects will be some of the areas where that agenda is realized. So with that, sir, I'll turn it back to you.
Thank you very much, Chad. We're really proud of the job that you all have done, and it's been amazing. And this may be one of the smaller awards, but it's still just as important for those people whose lives are going to be transformed here in Jeff's service area as anywhere else. And they have just as much right to connectivity as anywhere. So Jeff, Roland, welcome this afternoon, leader of Breda, and we'd like to welcome you, and the platform is yours.
Right. Well, good afternoon, and thank you, USDA Secretary Sonny Perdue and Senator Joni Ernst, and Iowa Secretary of Ag Mike Naig, and our US Administrator Chad Roop. As stated, my name is Jeff Royland. I'm the CEO of Breda Telephone Corp. I'd like to take this opportunity to thank everyone for putting together this virtual announcement and celebration of expanding broadband in rural Iowa. Although we all wish we could be doing this face-to-face, nevertheless, the importance of expanding broadband in rural Iowa is the utmost important thing. I want to give a little bit of history of Breda Telephone Corp, now doing business as Western Iowa Networks. The company was formed back in 1905, providing telephone service in the town of Breda, where they served 26 homes in town and 14 homes in the rural area. In 1967, Breda Telephone Corp built a new office and equipment building in Breda. The new equipment provided touch-tone service, and this was the first complete touch-tone company in the United States. All the rural lines were also buried at this time. In 2010, Breda Telephone Corp was a Broadband Initiatives Program recipient from RUS to overbuild 2 of our exchanges with fiber to the home. Breda Telephone Corp was also one of the first companies in Western Iowa to offer gigabit services back in 2014. Today, we serve 14 communities in surrounding rural areas, all with fiber to the home and gigabit capable broadband. Thanks to USDA's ReConnect program, we will be able to continue our efforts building out fiber broadband. In less than 2 years, we will complete this build to the proposed funded service areas, in addition to the whole entire exchange of Arcadia, and hook these homes and farms up to the fiber network, offering voice, digital TV, and gigabit capable broadband, along with our other managed IT services. I want to thank my staff and my board of directors for the vision and the hard work we've done in the past, and the work we are doing today for the future as we continue to expand our fiber footprint in Western Iowa. We are honored and blessed to be a recipient of this round 1 ReConnect Award of $523,000 to help build fiber to the home for the homes and farms of this rural exchange. No matter how large or small the project, USDA has not wavered on size. The award reflects on the mission of expanding broadband to every inch of this country. This service will allow the farmers to e-commerce and the opportunity to expand their market research and sell products all around the world. Farmers can gain access to crop prices and markets along with real-time weather forecasts and give them the tools for precision agriculture. During these unprecedented times of COVID-19, the students and families that are at home are in need of this infrastructure more than ever. To be connected to their schools or doctors is a necessity in today's world and should be available to everyone on a level playing field. It is a result of these federal programs through USDA to offer funding support to help offset the high cost to build in rural America and offer a future-proof broadband network. So I want to say again, thank you to USDA Secretary Perdue, Senator Ernst, Secretary Nag, and Administrator Roop for this award, and we look forward to continue building future-proof broadband networks in rural Iowa.
Well, congratulations, Jeff, and you've done a marvelous job in enumerating the many benefits and the transformative power of connectivity to your citizens that you will serve. So we're happy that you will be doing that, and we look forward to doing even more. As I indicated earlier, this is the final announcement of round one, but since October of 2019, USDA, through Congress appropriations, invested $744 million in qualified organizations across 34 states. You can take a look at the map there and see all these many places that have benefited from high-speed internet connections in the rural communities where they live and they work. These investments are going to mean high-speed internet connections for 172,000 rural households, 13,000 farms, 6,000 rural businesses, 286 rural educational facilities, such as schools, colleges, job training centers, 227 rural critical community facilities, such as fire stations, police stations, and 49 rural health centers. That's a mouthful, isn't it? And while you look at the map and you see there's a lot of places to go that need it, that's an amazing accomplishment, Senator, on the $600 million that you all have initially granted to USDA to allocate among our country. So the good news is we still have the $1.1 billion available for deploying this critical infrastructure, $100 million of which was approved in the CARES Act just recently. And the demand for these services, again, is tremendous. It's oversubscribed again. Senator, I talked about the excitement in Stanton, Iowa in December when we announced the award there, and then announced the second round of ReConnect that way. We closed those awards on April the 15th, had 172 applications, and really, I think $1.5 billion in requests that way. So we know there's a lot of demand out there. So I look forward to announcing more of these critical investments from round two very soon, and from the CARES Act. And as you can see from the map, today's story is good news, but it's just a drop in the bucket. We need a good shower all across this country to spread broadband connectivity throughout our country. So we appreciate this effort. It's part of many that we hope in the future, Jeff and Senator and Mike. Thank you for joining us today. And we're going to continue to work at our President's direction to ensure all Americans have access to high-speed broadband connectivity, because we know when rural America thrives, America thrives. So thank you all. God bless you.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.